Today, we're going over stories of people who went to extreme lengths to hold the line against completely impossible odds. The Viking of Stamford Bridge. It's September 1066, and a giant, unnamed Viking warrior is resting near the River Derwent in England. Just days earlier, the Norwegian king Harald Hardrada had launched a massive invasion of the country. Things are going pretty good for this invading army, and they think they have the country in the bag. But little did they know that their lives would soon be changed forever. Because it was an unusually hot day, the Vikings had left all of their heavy chainmail back at their ships, casually relaxing in the meadows of Stamford Bridge. Suddenly, a massive cloud of dust appears on the horizon. The English king Harold Godwinson had force-marched his army of 15,000 men over 185 miles in just 4 days to ambush them. A cold shiver runs down their spine as the unarmored Vikings realize they were caught completely off guard. They desperately needed time to retreat across the narrow wooden bridge and form a defensive shield wall, or they would all be slaughtered. The English charge forward, expecting an easy massacre, but as they reach the choke point of the bridge, their advance violently halts. Standing dead center on the wooden planks is a lone Viking berserker, gripping a massive two-handed Dane axe. When the English soldiers look at the size of this absolute unit, their jaw hits the floor. The English commanders order their men to attack, but this nameless giant fights like a vicious beast. He swings his axe with terrifying speed, and the men who get too close are instantly hacked to pieces. Screams fill the air as he single-handedly cuts down 40 trained Englishmen. The English send wave after wave, but the Viking does not back down. For over an hour, this one man literally stops an entire army in its tracks. The English realize that fighting him face-to-face would be a suicide mission. So one soldier hatches a cunning, if not slightly cowardly, plan. He climbs into an empty wooden barrel, floats quietly down the river right under the bridge, and carefully draws his spear. Looking through the gaps in the wooden planks, he violently thrusts the spear upward, fatally stabbing the berserker. In the end, the giant collapses, and the English army finally swarms over the bridge. But the insane bravery of that one warrior bought his brothers the time they needed to form their defenses. Ben Solomon. It's July 1944, and a 29-year-old army dentist named Ben Solomon is treating wounded soldiers in a medical tent on the island of Saipan. Things are going pretty good for the U.S. forces as they push forward, but little did they know that a massive Japanese banzai charge of 5,000 soldiers was heading right for them. A cold shiver runs down Ben's spine as enemy soldiers suddenly burst into his hospital tent and begin bayoneting the wounded. Ben doesn't hesitate. He kicks an enemy soldier, grabs a rifle, and instantly kills the attackers. He looks outside and sees thousands of enemy troops swarming their position. He turns to his medical staff and orders them to evacuate the patients. If they are to have any chance of survival, someone has to hold the line. Ben sets up a heavy machine gun and begins firing into the incoming horde. The battle is brutal, and Ben is shot over and over again. But he refuses to back down. He single-handedly stops the advance long enough for everyone in the hospital to escape into the jungle. When American forces retake the area days later, they find Ben's body slumped over his weapon. He had been shot 76 times, but surrounding his position were the bodies of 98 enemy soldiers. This dentist had literally become a one-man army. Saito Musashibo Benkei. It's 1189, and a gigantic warrior monk named Benkei is standing guard outside the gates of Koromogawa Castle in Japan. Inside, his master, Minamoto no Yoshitsune, is performing the ritual suicide known as seppuku after being betrayed by his own family. Benkei knows this is the end. The enemy army, numbering in the thousands, marches up to the bridge leading to the castle. They expect an easy victory, but standing dead center on the bridge is Benkei, armed with a massive naginata sword. The commanders order their men to attack, but Benkei fights like a rabid dog. He swings his weapon with terrifying speed, and screams fill the air as he cuts down over 300 fully armored samurai. The enemy commanders cannot believe their eyes. They realize that fighting him face to face is totally useless. So they order their archers to rain down a storm of arrows onto him. Benkei is turned into a human pincushion, but he does not fall. Hours pass, and the enemy soldiers are literally shaking in fear to approach him. They just stand there, terrified of the giant monk covered in arrows. Finally, a brave samurai sneaks up and gently pushes the warrior. Benkei instantly collapses to the ground. He had been dead for hours, but his sheer willpower kept him standing on his feet to protect his master to the very end. Hey, just want to say thanks for watching. We'll be back telling more epic stories from history soon.